Thank you so much, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, panel members, faculty members, all the people who are present in the hall. It's a very interesting subject that we are going to be discussing about for next about an hour or so. Uh, well, the title long is very long. Probably what I'll assume it's all about how do we attract the talent, how do we create that brand so that we create that pull instead of push, right? So this is the topic, and how, as a panel member, probably, as a panel moderator, how I would like to do the discussion about, with the consent of the panel member, is we'll dissect this into two things. First, probably initial first 3-4 minutes up to 5 minutes, we all can discuss the challenges that we have around our talent solutions. So it's not about managing talent, but it's about how getting the talent and what are the challenges around it. So I am sure everyone knows getting the right talent is an issue, but it also depends from a kind of industry that we are into, the kind of level that we are looking at to. Even some kind of semi-skilled person also, it's great tough job to get him on board. So along with the introduction of our firms, organizations, so while that's we can run for next 5 to 6 minutes each member, and then we'll go into this branding aspects, what strategies we have as an organization, each of us, how best we do this, any challenge that we face, probably integrating with the previous session of data mining, all analytics around it. Are we using it? Is it helping us in any ways? And that's how it is. Then probably we'll throw it open for the general discussion. So around 40-45 minutes we'll discuss on this. Then subject to your interest and questions and queries, we'll take it forward. So thank you so much. I think we can start from Mr.Ritesh, then Miss, then we'll go ahead. So around 4 to 5 minutes, your organizational introduction and the kind of challenge you face in talent acquisition.
Okay, so Mehul is starting with something which I believe is very easy to begin with, because when we are looking at the challenges, all of us know, despite India being a highly, what you can say, manpower intensive country, the availability of talent is a challenge. But when I look at it, I really see it from two perspectives. Means, what am I looking for? That's very critical thing. Or if I am not getting the right person, do I get the basic necessary stuff in place, and then I can develop and groom those individuals as per my organization's need. If I look at my telecom industry, obviously the challenges are immense with respect to ever-changing technology. Till 3 years back, nobody was sure about 3G. 3G was fractured. And just 2015, 2014, new Prime Minister came in, and 15 we are talking about 4G being available in India, because one of a very big player is going to come out with 4G pan India in some time, and very, very soon. So initially the thought was 4G will be taking some time. And if I go to the history, 3G ecosystem took 7-8 years to get evolved. Handsets were not available. Japan was the first country. They tied up with Sharp, Toshiba to create 3G handsets. US was second country till 2007. Before iPhone came, 3G was not popular with them at all. Okay, so Australia was struggling. But if you see in last 5-6 years, the 3G upsurge is so high, and now 4G upsurge and ecosystem has taken place in 2 years. So first challenge is, when I look at my people who are coming on board, are they really in a position to adapt quickly to the changing scenario? My sales people who I was picking up from FMCG, they have to sell something much more technical, much more difficult now moving forward. Though voice is getting commoditized, but data is still not a commoditized thing. Okay, so that's one thing. But and looking at it again, because being a pan-India player, the other challenge I have is, as uh, I heard in previous discussion, the diversity. So diversity, very important, is gender diversity, and because our organization is highly rural centric organization, so gender diversity is a big issue. But when we are looking at the complete diversity, the multi-ability diversity is also one challenge we are facing. So these two things I would just end up with, and I'll leave maybe other things for others to contribute.
All right, Miss Julie.
Hello. Yeah. Hi, I'm Zubi from Tikona Digital Network, and as you know, this is an emerging organization It has just completed 7 years and working well in pan-India level. And they are working in broadband services, as you know. And as I'm a new professional in this field and this industry, I don't know a lot about telecom earlier. But as I have experienced in these few years in Tikona, it is really an emerging organization and emerging field. And yeah, means it is like you can see the professionals we hire in our organization are they must be having different multiple knowledge. We can't hire a person in sales having only sales experience. They must have a knowledge of technology and everything, because they have to explain it to everybody. So having multiple knowledge is very necessary nowadays. And yeah, and the growth in the organization, for retaining any person and to reduce the attrition in your organization, you have to give freedom to your employees to grow, to work in the and apply their own and new ideas. So this is all about.
Yeah.
Hi, I work for housing. I don't think I need to talk about the brand. It's very well known. We're 3.5 years old. I think a couple of months back we celebrated our 3rd anniversary. And the things that you don't know about the organization, I think, would be more interesting. So we spread across like 105 locations in India. The average age is 25. I tried pulling it the other way, it didn't come. So we are Gen Z when it comes to an organization. It's a completely different sort of a work culture. So contrary to a lot of what you will hear here, we're not like that. So we believe that people are complex and emotions are complex. We are trying to make it easy. So we don't believe in all the complexities that that is traditionally seen in books and HR and stuff. So we do it, I mean, everything is done in a very different way at our workplace. So I guess while we run through the conversations, then we will speak a little bit more about what we do. Thanks.
Thanks, Ajay.
Hi all, I'm from TICO Software. So it stands for abbreviation with the Information Bus Company. It was founded in 1997 by a gentleman named Vivek Randive. He's an IIT from Mumbai and did his MBA in US. And you may not have heard of Tibco before, but just to give you a layman example, what actually we do is, you all must have an ATM card, right? And you go to an ATM, you put the money what you want, you take out your card. So what happens next? You receive an SMS, right? So what we do is we make, we integrate two softwares, that's telecommunication and a banking software, so they can speak, a same language. And that happens with a fraction of seconds. So that is what our strength is. We are the leaders in integrated software space, and the hiring culture what we have is really amazing. We don't follow the usual hiring trends that's going on. We have something known as based on different like IQ, intelligence quotient. Then we have sales quotient, social quotient, and then we have emotional quotient. Now these are the parameters what we judge people on when they come in. Plus, it's very important for us, to also have, the cultural, part. So like what values an individual has, and are these values matching our, organization as well? That is what we do. And as Ritesh rightly mentioned, that there is one big company coming up with 4G, right? So I don't want to name that in case you've already known that company. Just to let you know all that we are the backbone software of that particular company. So it's a multi-billion-dollar company. And as in last we discussed, right, the last panel members, right, that WhatsApp. So we are a multi-billion-dollar company. I can't disclose the figures though, but yes, now we are just 3,000 employee across the globe with 37 different locations. Plus the customer strength, can you guess? 6,000. All Fortune 500 companies are our customers. So that's how Tibco is known about. So with respect to the recruitment challenges, yes, we also face a lot of recruitment challenges. And we'll connect more on that, and we'll speak more about the employer branding as we move ahead. Thanks.
Yeah, so friends, the key message is that we all have a different kind of challenges in sourcing people, sourcing, recruitment, whatever we call it. So sometimes it depends on the sheer volumes, sometimes it depends on the sheer kind of skill sets. I remember in the previous session somebody mentioned about the very very niche skill set. The other challenge is around the right kind of skill. So while we all are looking for the right kind of person, but sometimes in the bulk that tends to compromise sometimes. So we'll come to each of this. So for example, telecom has a different innovation, different technologies. He may be having different skill sets. For my example, I may just take a minute, though I am moderator, I may also jump into this discussion, is we have a volume challenge. So we are growing in a bit. So suddenly one fine day I'll say in my inbox, I need 30 people for X project, which has just come in next 90 days. And then I'll be just running around on the sourcing. But at the same time, how do we get the right people without compromising on the quality or the kind of things that we have in mind is the key around this. So these are the kind of challenges that we have around sourcing. And the key factor to address is to create that kind of brand. So you create that attraction amongst the potential candidate that they look for you as an employer. So that is the pull factor, you pull people to you. And this is the again thing that we will be discussing as to what all strategies we deploy as an organization, the panel members, how it is working well, what innovations they have done in sourcing the right kind of talent. And mind you, when we are discussing talent, it's not about recruiting a semi-skilled person or a low-skilled person. It's all about recruiting the right kind of person. That's what the talent means. So this is the discussion, the context of the discussion is this. So I think rightly put, coming back to Sir you, probably you can tell us something about what you have done to attract good talent to you, to make that decision easy for the candidates to join you.
Okay, when I was really thinking about building employer brand, and a lot of you, because millennial population is much more informed than what we used to be 15 years back when we passed out from our institutes. You know, Great Place to Work, you know, Hewitt, you know, Gallup, all these organizations. But when I really look at it, what exactly is the essence of all these studies? Building a strong employer brand has got two elements, and a lot of marketing people will relate to me: above the line and below the line. Okay, ATL, BTL. But how I define it, with due apologies to all marketing professionals, sorry if I offend you, I call above the line is more noise, less substance. And below the line is less noise, more substance. Okay. So, how this is that you are advertising everything, I don't know whether really something is there or not. Below the line is you are doing something concrete, but you don't need to advertise because it will speak for itself. Okay. So, when we look at this aspect, ideas, personal strength in this area is actually BTL. And why I would call it BTL, if you see, all our branding is all about completely marketing, product, and the services we are offering. We never talk about, for example, and sorry in case I am again offending anyone, we also make steel. Sorry, we don't say that. We say we make only telecom products. Okay, we don't say that we also make telecom products. Okay, but when we talk about the other things, then we do a lot of internal corrections. Whenever anybody comes on the board, when I look at, again, how the BTL is shaped up in my organization, there are only three things which define my complete BTL activity: care, commitment, and integrity. Care for the employees, care when they are coming into the organization, how they should be dealt with. Commitment, in case we are hiring them, commitment towards them. Third is integrity into everything, integrity into dealing with them, integrity into making promises, integrity into being transparent, being honest about it. Okay, so that's how my BTL is all about, and so it's all about that. So whenever I create any policy, I don't create a policy just to score some points in some of these studies, and whereas actual usage is lesser. However, when I create any policy, we do a lot of internal research. Because I run the organizational diagnostics, we run hundreds of surveys in every quarter, encompassing certain segments of the employees, whatever feedback they are giving us, and in case something is substantial, we come out with those changes. So that's how we are building, and my brand has been built in telecom space, particularly I can say whenever we talk to a lot of people say that I keep on hearing, and from the competition, they keep on saying, we hear about idea that it's an organization to work for. Maybe not very aggressive organization, not seen as an aggressive organization in marketplace. However, a good place to work because of the dignity of the individuality, because of the care, because of the managerial skills they are being provided. And it's not a one day's affair. We have really gone very strongly from 2005 onwards in building an organization with stature right now. So that's how we have been doing it.
Sir, if you can also add about some of the initiatives that you are taking for online, like LinkedIn or social media, anything that you do to attract the talent pool?
Okay, maybe we are now again, as we say, offbeat in this. Social media is a thing of, a lot of hype is all about that. We are utilizing social media for tapping the talent. Somewhere we publish our requirements discreetly, confidentially, because we don't want to make anything and everything very, very obvious. We are not a bulk hirer. We don't hire 30,000 people in a year. We hire only selective. Large population is actually sales. Second large population is network professional, and third are all service delivery, HR, finance, all put together. But we usually use social media predominantly for mid-management cadre, and we discreetly approach them. So this is what we have: a dedicated page. Our career pages are integrated with the career website, but we may not be, you can say, an example to look forward to when it comes to social media, but we are tapping it where it's needed.
Okay.
We are not going overboard about it.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. So, I think Ms. Juhi, if we can hear from you.
So, as we are talking about telecom industry and its recruitment and the challenges coming through them, and the challenges that VHRs are facing in recruitment. So yeah, we all are using all the social media as we find it convenient, and for mass communication, that we recruit, we post, and we find really good peoples, and it is really easy to find good peoples over there. So through different connections, even I have seen that people working in the same organization for a long time, they are not going and registering in Naukri or any other profiles, because they don't think they are satisfied where they are working. But through these connections from LinkedIn, Facebook or other, when we approach them, like when they come to know that they are getting these jobs, they have these opportunities over there, and this will be a better opportunity for them. So we are finding it convenient. So thanks to social media, it has made our job very easy. And other thing is that, yeah, sales is one of the profile we require most of our employee in that field. And it is really challenging to get a perfect sales guy in a telecom industry, because we really need people who are good with these knowledge of telecom industry, networking and other things. So it is really difficult to find people like that. But yeah, somehow we are managing it, and we are looking for it.
Okay. But any special initiatives you take to brand your organization? So while apart from social media also, within the employees you take certain initiatives?
Within the employee.
Yeah, within the organization, I mean.
Yeah. So as this is an emerging organization, so we have have taken a lot of initiative to brand our organization. We within organization we do a lot of employee engagement thing, so that the people who are in your organization, if they are satisfied with within the organization, and if they feel a growth in your organization, so they'll not leave this organization, and even they'll share to everyone that this is a really good place to work in.
Right.
So which create a difference.
Yeah, they become your brand ambassador.
Yeah.
Very true. Yeah. Thank you so much. So Ajay.
So this topic about brand and how you leverage brand to get talent and stuff like that is really complicated, right? It's something that you can spend 2 days about and talk. There is that much detail you can talk in. But given the restricted time, let's just refer to what's very specific here. I'll take a step back. I'll just tell you that this is how we do it. So before we built the Lookup logo, HR was a part of that team that built the Lookup logo. So we became business partners. In making that logo, we also ensured that there were things that would resonate with every other department, internal, external, license, etc. So we don't have a long, huge jargon and a bunch of sentences for a vision, mission statement. It's just outsee, outdo, outthink, very easy. It's like yes, no, hello, you know. But everybody should remember it. Listen, that's what you live for here in this organization. So that's very easy. The arrow is very easy. It's a lookup arrow. It's got some soft edges on the inside. We care for our employees, so it's soft on the inside. It's sharp on the outside. The brand is imbibed within everybody that comes into the organization and everybody that represents HR. Very importantly, when they speak to people outside, they speak for the brand. So business partnering is very, very important. Then there is how do you use the brand internally and externally to leverage and get employees. You make ambassadors out of everything, right? So we are going the mobile way. So I think when I get back, I'm just launching the employee referral app. It's available on the Google Store. All my employees can log in with their employee IDs, download the app, and every time there's a new position that's open for referrals, they just click. And they need not necessarily take back money. They can take back flight tickets, or they can holidays or lunches, dinners, gold, whatever it is. I mean, it's all available there. There's a whole marketplace. What are we building? We're really building something that's futuristic, which is online, which is digital. We want everybody to, and everything in the company to be digital. I mean, interviewing process, I don't do 16 rounds of interviews. It's not possible. I will kill myself if I do that. But he was right in saying there are some very key positions within the organization which are the ones that control people and their vision. Okay. So roles that are in my peer group especially, they control a huge chunk of people. It's very, very important that you meet them multiple times before you hire them. But having said that, you meet them in the same office, same cabin, nothing's going to change. So we meet them at different places. We meet them once in a bar, once at a coffee shop, once in the office, once in the garden. And it's different people probably meeting them, or a combo of people. And we talk about everything. We don't talk necessarily about only work. We talk about everything. Sorry, am I audible? Yeah, okay. So, and there are the other roles, right, for which people come in. At 25, what experience do you have? What are you going to interview them for, really? So, it's simple. We've just got two people, the functional manager and this person that would sit and interview probably in the lawn or while having coffee somewhere. That's the first round. Can I work with him? Yes or no? I'm not going to be the one. HR is not the one who's going to work with him. It's a functional manager. Second thing is, how do you engage this person before he comes into the organization? So we do something very different. Before the person signs the employment letter, we get them to engage with what the organization wants them to. So I'll give you an example of what I did last. There were around 40 people that came from across the country. We got them into a room. We flew them in. We put them up. And these are very junior roles and senior roles. All of them stay in the same place. Everybody flies the same class, which is cattle class, by the way. We don't give business tickets. Once they were in, we got them into a room, and they had no idea what was going to happen. So they were told that this was an induction. And within 5 minutes, they were all told to pack up and head out to, we are in Powai, so Hiranandani Gardens. And we've got, because of our work, we've got camera equipment. So they were asked to choose amongst themselves who's going to be a producer, who's a director, who's a cameraman, footlight man, etc., etc. And they were given lookup as the theme and optimism. And they were said that you have the entire Hiranandani area, go shoot a movie and come back by evening. Okay. Now, hold on. So that's what they did. They came back in the evening. We took them to Marine Drive. There's a place where you can do night paragliding. So they did night paragliding. Now these were people, 40 people from various, waiting to join various departments of the organization. Most of them never met each other, didn't know shit about each other. Sorry, that's... when they came back the very next day, they were supposed to speak to some of the CXOs in the organization, so people came and spoke. I was the last one to come in. I came in with checks of their salary checks of the amounts that they have, and I offered them to take the money and go back home and not join us. Everybody joined us. And I can tell you, even till date, I have people from all of these different batches that have happened who've gone back home and spoken about what a fun place it's to be. Great culture, great workplace. They become my brand ambassadors, irrespective of whether they stay here for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, it doesn't make a difference. They're all going to speak about the experience that they had here. The next thing is that I don't even expect them to have seniority. Let's accept the world's changing. So if you expect somebody to stay here for 5 years, 8 years and all this stuff, you're living in a fool's world. It's not happening. 2 years of seniority is good, is what I think. So I was hiring an American from Silicon Valley, and I said 3 years. And he said, not possible, it's not going to happen. So he was a venture capitalist who wanted to start working or something. And then we were talking. 2 years was reasonable. So I'm getting somebody in, he's an enthusiast, she is an enthusiast, has entrepreneurial skills, has been able to sit across the table, have a conversation with me through an interview and convince me that something could be done. Comes, works with me, in 2 years delivers. If I cannot engage them after 2 years, they have the right to go, period. As clear as that. I actually employ a Grammy Award winner, works with us. This guy won the award last year in the Grammys. We celebrated it. He is a producer, DOP, Director of Photography. How did he get a job with us? What do we do? Seriously, we don't make movies, right? So he came in with a business idea and challenged us that he could make a business line out of it for us. And we took the challenge on because we could not beat him on the challenge. And he works with us and he earns money for us. So the brand journey really is about how easy do you make it for the other person that is coming in to associate with your brand. And if they're not able to associate, please give them the freedom to move on. Right? So that's what it basically is for me. Thanks.
Thanks, Ajay. Thanks.
Amazing insights, Ajay. Quite a unique hiring pattern. Okay. So while we are touch basing on employer branding, it stands out to very key aspect is employee value proposition, and it starts with a recruitment, right? Even the pre-recruitment when you go to college campuses, you have a campus talk, the recruitment, then while the employees are there in your company, while the employee engagement is done, and while even they are leaving, and while we are wanting to get them back as a rehire. So one of the key aspects, what our company, does is, we also, assess our, recruitment team based on a candidate experience survey. So it's not about 30, 60, 90 days after you coming in. Even if you do not, get through the interview process, how was your overall, experience throughout the day one when you received the first call, okay? And till the time, you have got your offer letter. And based on that, that's the quality what we want to give out, right? And it's a very, niche skill set what we hire, right? So, and it's a very, few numbers. We don't hire in bulks. It's a very few in numbers. So it starts boiling in from there that we want to hire only quality oriented people. Okay, that's a very, high quality, the creamy layer of that society we want to hire. So we are very cautious. So one of the other branding aspects what we do is while we go out on hiring, we also have a lot of quiz done. Second thing, as most of the recruiters face is a lot of people now, it's amazing opportunities coming in, a lot of it's a Google world, you say, and a global world. So you have a lot of opportunities, right? As Ajay mentioned, it 2 years is something what it's a span, not more than that. So you don't get that creativity or innovativeness. So we also have people who are having multiple offers. So how do you deal with that, right? So one of the things what we do is like, for example, we've taken, we've offered someone so that, he or she sticks with us, So we also take them out for, dinner or maybe a coffee, because that gives a different image of your company. And that is very important. So, with this, maybe, I'll continue.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Just one point, which I forgot to mention. when I was in school, I was born and brought up in Mumbai, and one of the key companies, every parent wanted to work was Reliance, right? And that's like a branding, right? And today we had one of the Surat-based companies who's given 300 Fiat Punto, 500 houses, right? Gold coins and a lot of jewelry stuff. See, this is not only about branding. This is about building your brand ambassadors, right? So even people when they leave, they still talk about. So while we have a lot of people working in Tibco, the one of the best work-life balance is I've worked in multiple companies. One of the best work-life balance which a company provides is Tibco. You don't have multiple you have to complete that 9.5 hours. No, it's all gone haywire. You complete your work in 2 hours and you're done. That's it, right? You need not to wait, right? It's very simple. Like you can work from home. That's a policy, right? So these things have changed. It's not as Ritesh mentioned. It's no more advertisement which really sparks someone. It's the customer centric. How you can penetrate into there and get the best. Thanks.
Very true. So thank you so much, Karan. So what we are hearing are very interesting views. So because as we rightly said in the previous sessions also, so new ventures, new entrepreneur-run companies, e-commerce companies are completely having entirely different set of practices, which are very, very enlightening. So again, brands are built over a period of time. So however best you do on your LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, 1 year down the line, people know the reality. So like the employers have their own HR analytics, employees also have their own HR analytics, right? They also have their source of data, they also have their friends, alumni, colleague working in this company, they also have their own network to find out about the prospective employer. So the best way to create a brand is implement what you do genuinely, as he rightly said. You have certain values, display them. You have certain policies, processes, transparencies, performance driven systems, highlight them. And then your employee themselves become your brand ambassadors. So while if I were to share my experience, I think we had some very, very bad experiences on Glassdoor. So we denied some promotions and next day there was a blasting on Glassdoor. So we had to just go on firefighting mode. We responded to those comments, so on and so forth. So similarly, we have very interesting experiences of people referring to those sites and then coming to us. So unfortunately for us, we are not that popular brand. Access risk, if I were to go, maybe out of 100, only 10 would be aware of it. But yeah, that's the choice we have made because our operations, our domain are completely different. So we would like to have it that way. So those 10, they actually had referred, they had their own network sources to find out about the company and then they choose. Another problem that we had was if you think that we are offering a job to candidate, but then the candidate might be having 3-4 offers. The candidates are also smart. So there are often dropouts, there are infant mortalities, as rightly said, within 3 months of joining, 6 months of joining, people leaving us. But yeah, that's the way it is. So unless you create an absolutely transparent culture, you walk the talk, walk the talk, right? So that's how you create a brand of employer choice. So and also you heard all of us, the previous session, this session, you all know, right, your CVs, whom to shoot your CVs. So, okay. Another interesting session, not session, but another couple of minutes maybe we can spend on advising them as an employer, what do we expect this generation? I mean, as an employer, what are our expectations from you? So, not from the technical skill set, so while it's understood that sales and marketing are a separate skill set, domains are other, but other behavioral skills. Any special things that you are looking for? Any advice for them? Okay. Keep your ears open.
So, do you guys really need my advice? Yes. Do you listen to your parents? Yes. Do you follow their advices?
Don't know.
How many of you? By your heart. Okay, we all know the reality because I have a teenage son. Okay, so I can say with the utmost authority, and I think all of us experience that, the advice is a gone thing. Okay, so the population which belongs to new era does not need advice. They actually need avenues. Got it? So they need avenues for them to realize whatever they are capable of. Some are capable of something extraordinary, maybe on the negative side, on the positive side, whatever it is, and that's why we have organizations like ISIS, that's why we have organizations like Google, and both are flourishing with the same pace. Got it? So, so I think the only thing which we look forward to whenever we are hiring an individual is one categoric thing. And as somebody was talking about in the first panel discussion, that no organization is completely made of innovators. Okay, no organization. And when you look at this, the general principle is, if I take an example of a chariot, if you have 6 horses, usually the horses on the extreme left and the horse on the extreme right are the brightest, sorry, not the brightest, they are the most disciplined one. They will just follow the path. And the horses who are in the right middle, because they are going to drag the chariot to a long pace, they will be the strongest and possibly most the unruly one. Okay, that's how the organizations are also built around. There are solid citizens who are very disciplined, they run the processes with the utmost sincerity, and they need to be given their due. That's one thing. Similarly, there are certain proportion of an organization, people who are innovator, who are bright, and usually the obedience and the competence don't go hand in hand. The people who are obedient usually will not be that much, you can say, that high on the competence, and the people who are very high on the competence may not be that obedient. However, exceptions prevail in both the areas. Okay, so the avenues which I would like to really look forward to whenever any person is coming on board is whether the person is in position to really challenge the status quo. Okay, that's one thing. And second thing, with respect to maybe advices to them, the one thing is every organization, I see a lot of organizations are writing in their USP, somebody who can handle the ambiguity. Okay, it has become a cliche. But we need to understand why a cliche becomes a cliche. Okay, so rather than going into the cliche, I would say whenever anybody is being hired, you please seek clarity in the areas which are very, very important to you. Because you can't seek clarity into everything and anything. You don't get a clarity when you are getting into an institute, whether you will be passing out with certain level, whether you will be getting into an organization of your choice. So the advice is, whenever you are going to join an organization, please make a very clear demarcation of what is something non-negotiable to you and what is something you can live with. Okay. So this is a very simple choice, but whether means you would like to have, and I'm again saying that you possibly would like to have a Bill Clinton with a character of maybe a Pope, okay, as a husband. So which is obviously something looking for the ideal preposition. So you cannot get an ideal preposition at any point in time. So what is something non-negotiable to you? Please seek a clarity from the organization when you are getting on board with them. And what is something may not be that non-negotiable to you, you can leave it to the organization if you believe in that organization.
Thank you so much. Yeah, madam.
So for me, what does it matter is the right attitude. Yeah, we are looking for an experienced person or person who are well educated. So if they are well educated, they can be trained, they can learn things quickly, but having the right attitude is very important. The attitude, they must be passionate enough for what they want to do. They must be persistent that yes, I want to do this and I can do it, and everything else. So that's the thing we are looking for in new professionals, even in the experienced professionals. So their attitude, whatever they want to know. And the thing is, you all told us that you are very obedient, so I'm not. I never used to obey my parents. Yeah, we used to respect them, but it's not like what they have told us is compulsory. We have to do it. We need to do those things which we love, because we can do better on that field for which we are passionate enough. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I apologize, we are running slightly late, but just few more minutes. It's on your interest time. Please.
There are different types of people that we actually require. So there is the product and technology side, which requires very specific skill sets. So we just go to the IITs and the Harvards and pick up people from there who come and want to ideate, innovate. And generally, these are all young, fresh people, so they have got a very creative streak. We want the product to keep ideating and building on itself. Like he'd mentioned earlier also, that innovation in product is very, very important. Color blogging and how you look at things and how you change different fonts, etc. All of these. So these guys work around that. That's one set. Then there is the functional skill set that we look for, people like me. In that, you look for people who have some experience to lead functions. And the rest we then have to come with brighter and fresher ideas. So we don't want the same ideas coming in. So we'd even taken people laterally. So we have around 20 to 30 IJPs every month. And people from various departments are allowed to move freely to other departments. Nobody can stop them moving. They will move, they can perform. So everybody gets an option to give it a chance and try and perform. And if they don't perform, they realize and they move out. And then you have the sales skill set, which is the business skill set. That's out in the fields. Now that's somewhere where you need good experience in sales. So we traditionally will not have somebody with no experience. You will have some experience. And you can come from anywhere. You can come from BFSI, you can come from Telecom, FMCG, anywhere. Actually, FMCG is my favorite. But that's because there's a lot more outreach for them, and we need a lot more outreach. We deal with a product on our marketplace, which is the costliest product right now that's ever going to sell on a marketplace. You don't see yachts and planes being sold, but houses and land will be sold, and this is a necessity for people, and it's the costliest product that you will see. So it's going online anyway. So that's a mixed skill set that we look for really. The ones that come in with entrepreneurial skill sets are the ones who make it because they know people within the organization. So if you have friends within there or can get access through LinkedIn and stuff like that, have a great idea, send us a video story about what you'd like to do, how you can change the world for us, catch a bug in something that we made, we're happy to talk to you.
Sure.
All right, thanks.
Okay, two most important things which I feel, for any fresher, while I was also a fresher someday. How many of you have set your goals? What do you want to do? I can just see few hands. See, there is what we lack of, right? So when we talk about goals, it's very, very important, okay, to zero down the company which you want to join, okay? Target that company. Okay, so how many of you are on Facebook? How many of you are on LinkedIn? Wow, that's a good count. So when you are on LinkedIn, connect to professionals, okay, and seek their, advice, okay. You can, and when you set a goal, that has to be a very smart goal, okay. And with that goal, you also would have you should also have a mentor. Now, in case you have a good mentor, you can, scale up any heights, okay. And trust me, you need to have a mentor in your life. I'm sure, everyone in this, panelist, my seniors would have a mentor. So this mentor is very important, okay, who guides us, who takes us to a different, altogether, level of understanding. Now the third important point, what I feel, and I have seen that I attended one of the conferences, and in that we had one of the motivational speakers, and he was talking about Chanakya while hiring freshers. So trust me guys, two things you all are observed when you come for any discussion, okay, is how good you are at your listening skills, okay. That is one most important thing. And your communication. And as Juhi mentioned, one of the most important part is your attitude, okay. And with that, I'll just end up with one of small examples. As Vishnu mentioned that the learning and unlearning process. So while the experienced people carry that baggage, while I went, when I joined this company, my manager first day told me, Karan, we have good skills, but just unlearn everything what you know. Okay, let it be a fresh slate and start afresh. So as he rightly mentioned, you have amazing multiple opportunities and all the domains are open for you. Trust me, MBA is a universal program which fits into all the domains. Okay, it don't necessarily need to be on one specific company. Open your thoughts. We have so many people. But like Mantra is one. Housing. Amazing ideas. So don't just have a prerequisite that I want to join that particular brand. If yes, slate it out, zero it down, and join that. But if no, you have amazing opportunities. All the best.
Yeah, thanks. And so, that's what I think. I don't want to really summarize everything what we discussed because it's fairly simple. It's basics, right? Some of the things we already knew, probably in a scattered thoughts, which we tried to organize. But the key message probably I would also like to give is, while branding is important, everyone like to join Googles and Microsoft of the world. But again, follow your passions. Like for example, just give you an example. It's housing.com. Probably you might not have heard about it, but if you think this is giving me the right kind of exposure to the kind of work that I want to do, join them. Okay, take a punt. Follow your interest, follow your passions in joining. Few rupees here and there. I mean, don't bother about that, but go for the thing that you like the most. Go for the thing that interests you the most. That is also there. The advices that you heard, right? Attitude is the key thing. I think in previous section, one of the faculty members was asking what are the takeaways for this, what are the things that we could build in the course. One of the things, madam, you could look at is building the softer skills. The communications, while I do understand most of them would have it, but apart from the technical aspects, some of the things, how they make more presentable, how they carry themselves, their appearance, grooming, etc. do matter. In most industries, I don't know about the new ventures and this. So yeah, so by other most traditional industries, they do matter. So just to share with you experience, we are Axis Consulting, the part of Genpact. The Genpact is the largest recruiter of chartered accountants. Now chartered accountants, with due respect if anyone is here, they bring very solid technical knowledge, but they lack a lot of soft skills. So communication is often a problem with them, and we have a multi-country client. We don't want to, put him in front of a client where he can't even speak proper English. So that's the challenge that we face. While he is the best talent, he is a chartered accountant, which is the most difficult course to pass. But the softer aspect is missing. So probably that are some of the things which you could focus, maybe some crash course here and there, if you realize that is missing in that. I think we have overshot our time. Anything from the panel that we missed on this subject? We'll just take 2-3 minutes for questions, or maybe after this session we can catch up one to one. Anything from the panel?
Just one point which I would like to make is, while as a candidate, you are assessing the company, okay? So while as a company, it's very important for us to assess you. When I say that, I am not sure if most of you, from the student side, know the figure. Do you know a cost of a wrong hire in a company? Anyone? A wrong hire, the cost of a wrong hire in a company. Anyone? Just it can be a wrong answer. There is no right or wrong answer. I just want to know any a cost of a wrong hire in a company. Anyone can just let me know the answer. How much is the cost of a wrong hire? With respect to when you tangify it, how value. Any tangible numbers?
Lakhs, thousands, crores, bolo na.
Lakhs? Okay.
Kitne lakhs?
Kitne lakh? For example, I'm offering a 10 lakh CTC. What would be the cost of a wrong hire? It's 20 times. Okay? So when we have a wrong hire in any company, it's 20 times of the CTC of that individual, because it hurts in every single day-to-day operations. So we are also very, wanting to that, as a talent acquisition.
Looking forward when we get recruited in future, like if a person is getting recruited for an assistant manager, for example, or a manager position, but for an assistant manager you're getting a higher package than a manager position in some other company. What will be a better option for a person to go forward? Because if you look down the line after 2 or 3 years, getting into a position of a manager can give you a better exposure to get into another company. but the pay package will be much lesser than what you will be getting. So, what can be a better idea?
Anyone? All of us will have an answer.
Your answer will be more welcome by them because you are very close to the. The only thing is, as I said, what matters to you? Are you for the money? Are you for the title? Are you for the learning? That's it. Because everything is not possible.
Yeah, true.
So look for that. And just focus on one thing. For example, I always believed after 4 years, and my first boss had a lot of influence on me. And he told me only one thing in initial 3 years, and I was struggling because I joined as an executive. Titles were not as fancy as these are nowadays. You'll 5 years and you'll be director in one company. Okay. But so I was asking him, where is my next promotion? He told me, just run after your professional growth, career growth will come automatically. So that's the bottom line. So it depends on you what you want.
And my answer will be just to add to him. Once you have knowledge and exposure, everything else will come. Everything else will come. Right? Title will come, designation come, money will come, everything will, brand will also come. Focus on this knowledge exposure for first 5 years in your life.
So you follow your passion, money will follow you. You want to add something?
No, please do what they said.
I have a question. For Ritesh. Yeah, because again, like I said, I'm faculty here, so my questions will be a little bit, centric towards, and I teach marketing. So the question which I have is, generally we've seen that idea, has been taken for sales or pre-sales kind of roles. But just to let you know, we also have subjects like, they know supply chain management, people are doing telecom operations. So do you think there is a fit in terms of, hiring our students as techno managers? I keep on, I'm stressing on the point that when we are saying telecom, we are actually telecom business, as in they learn finance, marketing and management, where we talk about communication and leadership and team spirit. So do you think our students are a fit for, because I do think, IDEA has a supply chain and operations as a separate profiles.
Exactly.
So we are looked at only at, maybe sales, pre-sales. So what could be the reason why the perception?
No, there is no perception behind it. To be very precise, it's supply and demand. So one thing is this time, maybe I can share an internal data. We have picked up the highest number of fresh graduates all over India, more than 150. Okay, and I have never seen. I was almost for 4 weeks successively. There were 4 sessions because every week they are inducted at the corporate level. So we scattered their joining because handling such a large population at one point in time is impossible for us, and they have a demand, they have a need. Obviously, they would like to be pampered to some extent when they are joining an organization. So this is nothing like the perception. Maybe our need for sales is very, very high because we are growing rapidly. We are highly sales-oriented organization. We have started picking up MT Tech. We call them management trainees technology, but we are largely picking them for our network operations. Supply chain, and I think a lot of blame goes to, and I will be willing to take that blame positively, because we have been able to retain large population of our organization in last 5 years. Our average age has been going up. I am not happy about it, but I'm reasonably happy that we are multiplying our numbers of people because we are becoming large and large. In the process, we are able to cater to a lot more induct young people into the organization. But people like me, when I joined this organization, I had never worked in an organization for more than 5 years. This is my 9th year running, okay? So, and there are hell lot of people in the organizations who the moment they join this organization, 3-4 years, the moment they spend 2 years, they don't want to move out. So I don't know whether I should blame myself, I should blame them. But effectively the process is, supply chain has been very stable function in our organization. The way HR and finance is, the only unstable function is sales and network, because they have a lot more demand and because they are fungible resources in that fashion. So that's how we have been largely focusing on that.
So to your disadvantage, madam, they have done too much of good branding. Internal brand.
So to Ajay, the question is, now that you've excited them and got them interested, I think you should also let them know where the fit in for your company as far as housing is concerned. Where do students fit in what kind of profiles?
Yeah, I think some of the students came and asked me that outside.
Yeah,
And I
because
told
you
them
got
I'm the
them
wrong
excited,
person to
so
ask
might as well
because
tell
I don't come to campuses to hire, but I will connect them to my talent management head, whom they can be in touch with and figure out how the hiring has to be done or whatever is happening. Sure.
This is directed to Karan and Ajay. We have been talking about the external face of branding. How to make a brand more attractive when we go externally. In terms of making the brand more visible. So, but my question to you would be, if we make our internal brand more stronger, would it not automatically translate into a stronger external brand and make it more visible?
Yeah.
Likewise, that also goes probably to the new entrant or the aspirant who's entering the company. He is internally very strong, so in that case, automatically the connect is also there.
I'll just start that, and maybe Ajay would want to add on that. So one of the companies which I worked for, I'll just share it with an example. I don't want to name the company because I don't want to leak out the policy. But one of the most important thing when you say internal branding, that's like 80% of the job done. If the internal branding is done well, then employee engagement is done well. So one of the companies which I worked for had an amazing policy. Okay, when I talk about internal branding, now as Ajay is from housing.com, every individual has an aspiration or a dream of buying a house, right? Now this company had a policy wherein it supported that in case you take a housing loan, we'll pay your 2 EMIs, right? Now this is something very important while you start your career after 5 years, like to get married, settle down. These things does matter a lot. And that's how internal branding is very strong. In a lot of companies, they have amazing good policies with respect to the internal branding, and we also have a lot of policies. And this is what I wanted to share with an example. So Ajay, you want to add on?
Similar things. We just do things that I think will make the employee feel happy, and for reasons of that, they will speak about it in public domain or even in social websites. Like I told you, the guy with the who won the Grammy, right? You think he was not quoted all over the papers? He was. But he was quoted as a housing employee, right? Just made a world of a difference. We splashed it all over social media. There were a lot of people with similar interests like his, and there were a lot of people who had other interests who thought, here's an organization that will give you that opportunity. So I think we were the largest participants, and there's something called a corporate talent championship that happens, right? I had 250 employees from my organization who participated in that. I don't think it's over. Maybe somebody wins something. But this actually, and it surprised me because I believed in it and I saw it happening. A lot of people generally in a professional domain, once they're out of college, end up going into seclusion or shells unless they find a comfort point. Some of these comfort points are complacency and scary. The way to get them to open up is to actually give them other avenues with which they feel a lot more comfortable. And sometimes these are expressing themselves emotionally or through talent and stuff like that. They come back, get recognized by the peer group, and they work much better as teams. So yeah, we do a lot of all that. So we're doing, next year we've already tied up with Harvard. We're doing something for them in India. So with their own campuses also that way.
We were all talking about employees being the face of the organization and being a brand. So sorry if it's a little intrusive question. How do you handle the phenomena like Rahul Yadav, for example? There was a lot of chatter in the industry that he may have caused a little bit of a adverse impact on the brand, which is housing.com. So how do you go about a situation like that? Does it impact your brand externally as well as internally, with employees may take a similar cue and behave in a certain way?
To a small extent, yes. So working with Rahul is not easy, okay? But I also never thought that I would learn anything from a 26-year-old, and I did. he's the guy who brought this culture in this workplace, okay, which is an amazing work culture, and I feel a lot more comfortable working in a transparent workplace than in a gossip-filled environment, which is very typical corporate. I have been in those places and come in there. Some of the things that he did were emulated by other people. And in the process of being emulated, they might end up pushing lines. We understand that. And till such point of time that we are able to, so as a company, I don't have policies, no handbooks and stuff like that. We have guidelines. So there are walls built, and within those walls you can do what you want. That's basically how it is. Having said that, there have been some challenges. The brighter side of things was that Rahul's focus area was to solve the consumer's problem on a larger marketplace. We are in an industry, I mean, the bigger gamut of the industry is called real estate. What we are in is housing. Housing is around 20% of real estate. There's a lot more other things there. It's probably one of the murkiest businesses to be in. It's a necessity for everybody. Nobody trusts it. We're trying to build trust. We're trying to give people, we don't sell. We don't sell anything. We're a marketplace. We let you come and buy and trade. So what he wanted to do was solve a larger consumer problem through technology. That is something that he was able to instill within the organization, and that stays as a focus. Product is our focus right now. So I believe while there might have been a flip side to whatever there was, the core of the business was innovation and product. And that continues to be. We keep reinstating it time and again through internal visual engagement. Visual engagement by inspiring words and having things around the workplace that keep people excited. So we have these hackathons and designathons and stuff like that happening around the workplace. You will be surprised at how the people work 24 hours at a stretch to try and win this thing, right? So they're running around the office doing this. So over a period of time, how do you kill negative media? By positive media. So that's basically what we work on.
So we have now signal that time is up. So thank you so much for patience listening. Any questions you may have, maybe we can catch up after this session one-to-one. And as just a message is that create your own brand as well. While we talk about employer's brand, employees brand also important. So yeah, somebody is looking at your Facebook profile. Okay, good luck. Thanks all.